Let's see. You're on microphone number 43 today.
Green.
You're in the green
I'm
room
in the
on the green
green.
one. Are you here today?
I'm here.
Are you still? Are we really here?
I don't know. I mean,
Oh.
everything's kind of off balance this morning because I got
Oh.
here later than I usually get, and then we
Yeah.
forgot to start up a minute early, and
Yeah, and
we're
then
good.
everything had to be reset here this morning because
Yes.
I had a power failure.
Good morning. I'm Lee Barrows.
And Kelly is on the way. She's here this morning. Roads are don't unless you really absolutely have to, and just wait for a while. It'll warm up a little bit later on. Right now, it's still cold down in the mid 20s in most of the area. So just
Yes.
take a chill, okay?
I will tell you, I came up Gum Branch. I went to 17. I went to Belfork. I went to Country Club, and then I came down here into your hood. The roads appear to be okay,
Howsoever more.
but I would still suggest traveling carefully, slowing your backside down. You don't know when you might hit a black ice spot. I researched the area this morning,
I'm sorry.
and most everyone was saying that the roads in Jacksonville were good, but do not use common sense.
Okay, and a couple of things going to happen as it warms up a little bit, and as vehicles get out there, because people like Lee and Kelly, they don't have common sense, so they drove in here. Well, one's here, one's on the way, so they drove on this mess anyway. Okay.
Well, the only problem I
kidding,
had this
girls,
morning
ladies.
was de-icing the windshield. I used the
Couldn't get your
de-icer.
door open, couldn't get your windshield to work, your windshield wipers were broken, and you still came here.
Everything was
What's
iced
wrong
up. The door didn't want to open. Finally got it open. The windshield, I used the de-icer. It wouldn't even break.
Well, I had Robbie, I had Shockwave, I had the cat was wanting to come in this morning, and Jake, of course, wanted to come in. So we could have handled it. Not a problem.
Yeah, not a problem. I
Except
don't
getting
mind.
that computer up and operating, it took me a while.
That's like I said. I checked reports this morning, and from what I saw, now not the social media or the experts, but people were posting that they were having no issues. Everything was fine.
Now, for everything else, you and Kelly and the others who are out there on the roads this morning, you're going to be melting some of that ice that's there, right? And then it's going to refreeze, and it's going to become even slicker.
Yes,
it's going to be messy.
Slick.
So slow down. You're going to become complacent because where you are for a bit, it's going to be okay, and then there's going to be one little patch of ice about 5 by 7 feet, and you're going to hit it. So slow. If you're under control, like slow, you can take care of it. Not that big a deal.
Yeah.
However, slow down. That's going to be the key. And I've said it a million times. Here's 1,000,001. If you can read the license plate of the vehicle in front of you, you are way too close. If you can read it, imagine trying to stop on this ice.
Yes.
When that vehicle either runs into something or comes to a stop without notice.
Well, I will say 99% of the vehicles that passed me were doing fine. They weren't, because I was extra slow, but they were traveling. I did see a couple go flying down Western. I'm like, okay, be yourself. But
yeah, we should turn the radios up so we can hear the crashes. We'll open the door.
So, if anybody has any reports on the roads, if you're out and about,
sure,
when you're safely stopped and not moving, whatever, give us a call.
If you walked out to get your paper, walked out to check and see what kind of limbs are on the ground or anything like that, give us a call. Let us know what it looks like in your neck of the woods. Our number is 910-333-0139, 910-333-0139. And
I will say the running boards on my truck were icy, which I found out this morning. Didn't think about it.
I've got there.
Stepped up on one and said, whoops.
I can find a walker for you somewhere.
Yeah.
Left over from surgery days. Okay, we
were spared.
Operating. If it had been nothing but some rain and the temperatures didn't freeze, it would have been another damp night. That would have been about it. But the power lines are iced over. The trees have got lots of ice on them. And suddenly last night, this house went dark. Suddenly, without notice, it went click. There was a boom. There was a slight explosion. Of course, having I knew it wasn't gunfire because it wasn't that kind, but it was a loud boom.
Wow.
And so I said, okay, well, there goes a transformer. And Robbie wasn't in the living room with me at the time, so I hollered at her, don't move, just stay where you are. And in about 7 or 8 seconds, the generator started up. And then I said,
There you go.
10 seconds, stand by. And then in 10 seconds, click, boom.
Well, I
They
had
were
all
back
my.
up and operating. Nobody else on the street was until I walked outside, saw my neighbor. He's got a generator too.
Good for him.
So there's 2 of us. We lit the block up.
I got all my battery powered lights out,
Mhm.
and I got my little charging unit to keep my phone and
the backup,
computers.
the backup battery stuff.
It's called a Jackery, and it is so good. During the H season when I was without power, I used that for days to
Mhm.
keep my cell phone and my computers charged up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I got all that out, my flashlights, everything, just in case, an
Okay,
extra
understood.
blanket, blah, blah.
Well, the power went out here because it was very local, and I did immediately call Jones Onslow because they will respond to calls in order. You don't talk to live people, but if whoever you're registered with or whoever you get your power from, make sure they have your telephone number because they will identify your telephone number when you call
Yes.
them, and they will say, "Is this where the power is?" Click 1. Well, I clicked 1 about 4 times, and they said they would have somebody en route, and I guess somebody else was also reporting power outage here. So they're not
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on this block. So
Right.
one of the other 6 also called.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, so
Well-
and then I said, well, I got to walk outside. I did what I tell you, do not do. And again, I'm going to tell you why you should not do it.
Uh-huh.
It could have been disastrous.
Yes. One
But I
slip.
got my flashlight. I walked out to the street, walked down the street in the direction that my wife said she heard the explosion. And there it was. It was a limb across park, a little, just laying out in the road a little bit. I said, well, it's a big old pine tree limb. I started in that direction. I shined the light up on the transformer. I said, well, I know where the problem is. Not a big deal. They'll fix that in 2 seconds. No lines were down. That's rule 1. Check to see if any lines are down. If you insist on going out, there were none. So I walked over towards that limb, and then about the time I got about 3 feet from it, other limbs started crashing from the pine trees, so lots of pine trees. And I said, well, it's not going to take me nearly as long to get back to the house
Back home.
as it took me to get out here. So
Well, that's
I
I'm
tiptoed across the frozen lawn, got in the house and stayed there.
a lot of social media last night, and I know that Jacksonville Public Safety Office did close the bypasses down last night.
Mhm, good.
When I went under them this morning, the one that I did go under, I did not see any traffic other than a DOT truck on top.
Bypass. Where were you?
The one right up the overpass right here that goes over Country Club Road.
Oh, yeah.
It takes you to the Jacksonville Parkway.
From Belfort to.
Yes, and then you have the one on 24 that connects 24 East to 24 West. You have that bypass. That was closed. Now, I don't know that they've reopened. Like I said,
They're not going to open anything
Yeah.
right away.
I shared the
Okay,
post
lots
on
of
our
government
page.
stuff is closed.
2-hour delays here and there.
Yeah,
Schools.
or more. Some places are closed all day.
Right.
Craven County got the same sort of situation we've got, very similar. So
Yes.
they check before you go.
Right.
The courts are going to be closed. We know that they announced that yesterday. One of the reasons is a lot of the judges have to travel from other
Sure.
counties.
Yes. A lot of witnesses. A lot of
in the judicial
workers.
district. So don't need to get out there and get involved in having another ticket when you get to see the judge because you've already gotten a ticket.
That
It's
would
not
be
a good plan.
You just got a ticket. How did you do that? Well, I got a ticket trying to get here. Not good at all.
Yeah, so
There's a lot of tree limbs down, though. I saw
okay.
a lot of tree limbs down. So you need to be careful because
don't walk in your backyard.
You don't know when one might snap.
Where you have trees because those pines have got a lot of little needles on them,
Right.
and they accumulate a lot of ice.
Right.
It freezes on them, and ice is heavy.
My neighbor down the street, Cheryl, she was texting me last night. She goes, "Are you hearing all this?" And I'm like,
Crash, crash, boom.
no, I couldn't hear it.
Yeah.
But she said there was a lot of tree limbs falling in the vicinity of
Yeah.
her house. So
So anyway, National Weather Service put out the winter weather update yesterday morning, a warning of snow and or freezing rain for the area, arriving a couple hours before their early. Some places around here got here about 2 o'clock. We started getting it here about 3:40 yesterday afternoon, little frozen pellets hitting our skylight and bouncing off the back deck. The winter advisory will continue through 10 or so this morning. I don't know. I don't see anything coming down. I didn't see anything on a radar that we have to be concerned about, except it's cold. The roads have got ice on them. The shoulders have got, and if you're living in an area where there's not a whole lot of traffic, it's going to take a little bit longer in your place. Please stay home. If you don't absolutely have to be out, just stay home. Limbs can break, and they do. They fall down, and you don't need to go out in your backyard and check it if you've got trees out there, because some of those older limbs, they'll break easily. And if they fall on power lines, those lines could break and power could be interrupted. That also, if it breaks a line itself and does not trip the breaker on the transformer, that power line, when it hits the ground, it can be dancing around. And one more time, there's water on the ground. The ground is wet. If you went to high school, if you went to junior high, they told you water, electricity, bad.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you don't even have to get to the power line if it's hot and bouncing electricity around it. You can stand nearby and start getting it through your feet.
I will tell you, though, the trees are absolutely gorgeous with the ice. So pretty.
Hey, Kelly.
Hello.
Slid in here all morning?
Did not slip or slide.
Oh, okay. You drove responsibly.
Were the roads, like I said?
Yes.
That was a statement.
For me, I did, yes.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep. Roads are not crowded. There's very few cars on the road.
Yeah.
Keep it that way. Everybody will be better off.
Yes.
So, if you're driving along this road, there will be ice patches here and there, and some of that water that's there, it's still well below freezing. It's going to refreeze even if it melts for just a little bit, and there's going to be a block of ice there, literally a block of ice. They call that black ice because you can see through it and see the black pavement below.
Yeah, you could see a lot of black ice, but it was so light, it was so thin. But don't take it for granted.
I wouldn't want to drive over a bridge.
Well, no.
Yeah, luckily I don't have to in my drive.
They froze when it was 78 degrees.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to drive a bridge.
During an H storm or an ice storm.
Yeah. It can get really windy up there and all that sort of good stuff. No need to talk about the marine forecast today, so we won't. If you have any desires to go out there, you probably ought to call Kelly's folks and have a session on the couch.
Yeah,
okay. Don't do that. There's no reason.
No.
There's probably no way, but just forget about it. I'm reasonably sure that boaters that I know won't even think of heading out. It's going to remain windy and cold today, though. We're going to have some of that stuff. If the sun's coming up, it's up, but we can't see it because of the clouds and whatever. But as it comes out, we're going to start seeing some more wind. And the Weather Bureau says in some areas now, when they give a report for southeastern North Carolina, that's a big area. That can be 10, 15, 20 counties.
Right.
So somewhere in those 20 counties or so, some of whatever they're predicting is likely to going to happen, but not everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think we were pretty much spared here. I mean,
we were.
I'm grateful.
Yeah, me too.
I'm very grateful.
There remains, according to them, a slight chance of snow flurries.
Mm-hmm.
Flurries are pretty much what they call nothing, and a slight chance of regular snow through 2 o'clock this afternoon. High today is not going to be real warm. It's going to warm up to probably 32, 33, 34 degrees. If for any reason the sun breaks through, it could warm up a little bit more, but don't really count on it. That means there's not a lot of stuff is going to thaw out, and whatever thaws out is going to be wet, and that will make standing water, which will become at 32 degrees, something they call ice. So that's your weather report. How's that?
Yeah, sounds Well, the next couple of nights will be in the teens, but good news, Saturday is going to warm up to a hot 49.
Yeah.
I can handle that.
It'll be 66 by next Wednesday.
I'm for it.
Poor Peter.
I need to get out
Yeah, he
and
came in yesterday clogged up. I wonder what he's going to do next Wednesday if it gets up to 66 degrees.
Well, Sunday will be 56. Remember, I told you that's my daughter's birthday. It's always hot or cold on her birthday. There is never any like in between, like a nice, I don't know, 68 or
Uh-huh.
it's either cold around her birthday.
Well, why don't you just change the date of her birthday to
I
celebrate it?
can't.
Same with my birthday.
Is
Just
her birthday.
to celebrate it on a
Mhm.
different day.
mine's
A lot
right in the
people
heart
do
of
that.
January, so
Yeah, it's either
it's either cold or
cold
hot.
or yeah. There's no middle ground.
Well,
Never.
Robbie changed our granddaughter's birthday from February 10th to April 1st.
There you go. I don't know about that.
So she gets 2 birthdays.
I like it.
That's the way that would work. So, hey, yeah. Okay, a bunch of mess going on. We'll get to it as we go along. If you've got some things out there in your neck of the woods, and you know, ice here, ice there. There's ice on the power lines out there. Ice on my antennas over here, which is driving those things a little bit crazy as far as the electronic stuff. Ice, it's not supposed to have ice on my antennas.
No, I will say I agree with it. The trees are very pretty with the
Yes.
ice.
No, they're not.
They're gorgeous. They look like sparkly.
Wait till one of those limbs
My
penetrates
car-
your head.
My car windshield wipers are frozen. The back one's not, but the front one, I was tugging. I'm like, just
Well,
leave it
you can
alone.
just turn around and go
I had to
backwards.
break mine loose, but the
I
ice on
couldn't
my
do it.
windshield, I could not. Even the de-icer spray would not bust
No,
through.
ice on my windshield is good. I let my car warm up, and I got out there with my little scrape. But the windshield wipers, they are not budging. I don't know how to make that happen.
I broke one of those.
So,
I tried
so
to
yesterday you
do it.
didn't put any like newspaper or your floor mats or anything over your windshields, did you?
I didn't think
Before
about it.
What? You lived up north.
I just did not think about. Look, I used to have one of those, and I suspect one of my kids took it. Although I know nobody will ever admit to this. I used to have those like windshield. I call them windshield blankets. I don't know what they are. One of those.
Uh-huh.
Do you think I have that thing now? No. I think one of my kids has it, but I'll never know.
Well, I will admit I didn't do anything only because I thought it would be worse this morning and we would not be coming
I
in.
agree with
So
that too.
Yeah, we'd already
said,
made
Really, I
arrangements.
forgot to set my alarm. So
Y'all were going to be operating from another remote location.
Yes, we had made
I was in here, so that was
yeah, we
fine.
had plans.
So we had contingency plans, and then Lee said, "I'm on the way." Oh,
Yeah,
God.
I was like, I saw
Well,
Lisa like, what?
I
had
got
just
up
woken
and
up.
started scanning all the remarks on social media,
Mhm.
and everyone that I read was
That's-
talking about all the roads being clear. And I was
Uh-huh.
like, well, okay, let's go.
Uh-huh. And those social media sites have never lied to you before. have they?
No, never.
Mhm.
That's why I said social media sites.
Okay, let's go out
You
there
know how they
towards
get.
Italy. Pope Francis,
Oh, yeah.
battling pneumonia,
Bless
had a
his
better day
heart.
yesterday. That's good.
Yeah.
Doctors were publicly
Let's hope.
reporting that his condition was not as bad as it was earlier in the week. The
Okay.
pontiff was hospitalized when he was diagnosed with bronchitis initially. His condition deteriorated yesterday after a week of treatment. The Vatican said his condition was stable. He has pneumonia. That's the information from several news outlets, normal news outlets, right? Another outlet's story overnight was that their words, the Pope realizes how serious his condition is and is preparing for his death. That's what they wrote. The Western Journal claims Pope Francis is pessimistic about recovering from his latest medical problem. Another reason not to ever rely on just one news
Mhm.
outlet.
Exactly.
Look at a bunch of them. Whatever. Okay, a little happy belated Valentine's Day, sweethearts.
Yeah.
You make me so happy. Now, turn around, put your hands behind your back, and listen to me. You have the right to shut up. If you choose to keep running your mouth, every word you utter will be sent to the judge that will decide your fate. Dubbed Heartbreaker, I love that code word, a combined drug sting by the Onslow Sheriff's Office, Drug Enforcement Unit, NCIS Special Operations, and last but not least, the state's Probation and Parole Department. It ended up last Friday, Valentine's Day. 11 men and women had been arrested, most on a variety of drug charges. A couple go back to jail because they were violating the conditions of their probationary sentences or the terms of their paroles for previous convictions. Duh. A couple others chose to resist the police officers when they went to search them. Bad move, always. Some were jailed without benefit of bond. Others had bonds ranging from $10,000 to more than $170,000 each. No bond means you can't get out of jail till a judge says you can.
That's right. Yeah.
That can be a problem. Okay.
Enjoy your stay.
Anyway, well, I had it warm last night, I'm sure. Downtown. They keep it warm
I
in
have
there.
to say, though, the sheriff's office is coming up with some cute little titles for the different
like the
rates.
heartbreaker for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, very good. I'm sure we know who that's coming from.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. He's a smart cookie, but yeah, they're coming up with all these new little, Operation Heartbreak, and I had to laugh when I saw that one. And then
I like the name.
and then
It was perfect
I'm
timing.
impressed. Yeah.
and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but
I am.
when you look at all the pictures of the people that were arrested,
There's
they all looked high as a kite.
there's prima facie evidence right there.
Yes.
Probable cause to go ahead and get a
That
warrant,
was
right?
scary.
If y'all want to see it, go to our Facebook page. I put them all out there, all 11
Well,
of them.
The sheriff's office put a video out complete with music and everything.
Uh-huh.
It was impressive. Like, good job,
Yeah, you can go
sheriff's
to their
office.
Facebook page and
Y'all did a good job.
Yeah, they've been doing a lot
Oh,
of
I'm sorry,
video.
if you think cops don't have a sense of humor, let me explain something to you. They got the best sense of humor of anybody.
they
period,
have been
bottom
doing
line.
a lot, and they've even, like I said, they started an Instagram page a month or two ago,
Mhm.
and been posting on that. And I say kudos to their
Yeah.
public information officer
Yeah,
there,
they're
who
having fun with the things.
Yeah, who's
Other
doing a
people's misery
great
in a case like
job.
this. Sorry, you brought it upon yourselves. Don't blame the police. Don't blame us. There's one person you can blame.
yes.
That dude in the mirror.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you what, he's brought the sheriff's office social media up to the 20th century.
Yeah.
He's done good.
21st.
21st, yes.
We already
I'm still
already
stuck
passed that
in
one.
Monday.
Yeah. Well, I guess the president's still catching a lot of grief.
Oh yes.
What time are we going to talk with Chris this morning?
He usually will text me and tell me, when he's up, when he's available. So I haven't heard from him yet. So I'm sure we will in a few minutes. But you talking about the president? Have you been reading these stories about the possibility that supposedly the president signed off on a tax refund plan that could send money back to all of us
Thank
who pay into it?
Hurry up.
They're talking $5,000 a person.
I'm trying to explain this again. Just when we were paying taxes as normal, as we go along, you've got deductions coming out, right?
Right.
Part of that is for your federal income tax.
Yes.
Right? That's the way
Right.
it works. Social Security is taken out.
Great.
All of that. Your unemployment insurance,
Right.
you pay part of that. The company pays part of it that you work for, but you also pay part of it.
8
Yeah.
o'clock.
Okay, well, we'll talk with Chris at 8 o'clock. But
Sorry.
if I go along and, when I was on a regular salary with another
Right.
company and I see there, well, I made X number of dollars minus. There was a whole lot of minuses there.
Social
One of the big
Security,
minuses
health,
was federal income
federal,
tax and state
state.
income tax. Two
Right.
things here in North Carolina, federal and state. Imagine living in some of those states where the cities can also charge you income
Right.
tax. Duh. Now, here's the situation with that. They take it out all year long, 12 months worth, 52 weeks. They take out a percentage of your income for
Mhm.
federal taxes, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the year, you go through and you lie to them and tell them when you're filing your return that you gave this and gave that and this was deductible and all this was deductible, so you get some back, right?
Right.
So if all of that, if they would go across the country and figure out what the average per person per dollar earned return is on their income taxes, they have made that much extra money that they have used interest free for a year.
Mhm.
Think about it. They get it. when they give it back to you, do you think that they have paid you interest on that money that they've taken for an entire year?
That could be a whole discussion on.
That's not a discussion. It's a fact of life.
I know,
Why?
but you
Why
talk
did-
about getting your blood pressure up. Good.
Well,
Lord.
you know, I've got blood pressure cups in there and blood pressure meds. I'll go take some.
I just check. Let me see.
But seriously, it's if they have to pay me back. Oh, let's say you have to give me $1,000 back. I need $1,000 on that interest. It'd have to be compounded by a month that it was given to me. But they're smart enough to do that. They got computers.
Having to pay taxes is a subject that gets everybody in an uproar.
It does.
I mean, I don't think you should have to pay taxes on your Social Security while you're paying into the
And you've already
system.
paid into it.
And then
Yeah.
you pay it again
Uh-huh.
in your retirement.
Uh-huh.
You pay on it again.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, see, I still have to pay Social Security taxes and taxes on my federal income, but I'm exempt from the state paying taxes unless I go over $10,000 or something like that in a year, other than my retirement, because I'm under the Bailey Act. I don't have to pay state taxes on my retirement.
Bailey?
No. Hi, Pete, if you're listening. I haven't seen him in a while.
I haven't either. Okay, anyway, the taxes are a whole different story, and it's kind of appropriate right now because we got less than 2 months, and we're going to get screwed again,
Oh, God. Between
one way or the
and
other.
we're going to be doing that. It's 2 months to
Now-
tax time. It's 6 months to Christmas. And just stressing us out, Rayford.
Well, anyway, Trump is doing what Trump promised he was going to do. Now, if y'all don't like it, you shouldn't have voted for him. The majority of the people in this country voted for him. The majority of this people still maintain, the ones that voted for him, they're maintaining, you know what, he's doing what I told him that I wanted him to do. He's doing exactly what he promised. He may be doing it on steroids, but he's doing it. Right?
Yes, yes.
You voted for him.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that he still says and does that,
It
Gets
irks
to
you.
me.
Yeah.
but he's the first president that I have seen that has said, I promise you, I'm going to weed out the waste. And he went right into it.
Every president has said that before during
Yes.
campaigning. I'm going to get rid of some of this wasteful spending that we do, that this government does. Elect me, I'll take care of it. Do they ever do it? Nope.
Well, listen, this
He's
was
done it.
This was
He's
a
doing
post from Doge last night. Doge, I'm sorry.
Whatever.
I always want to say Dodge from Doge. The U.S. government currently has 4.6 million active credit cards and accounts, which process 90 million unique transactions for $40 billion spent in fiscal year 24.
Here's one of the things that I became familiar with. Our government, our Marine Corps out here, some of the people that go to companies in Jacksonville to have work done, to get stuff done because they have a contract with them to do it. They pay them with a credit card.
A lot of them do. I
Yeah.
have a lot of active duty clients with one.
Uh,
I
Almost
had a
not, even
credit
a
card.
Lance Corporal. I mean, they all have.
I had
Most of them
one
have
too.
one.
to do
They're supposed to use it government
cards.
stuff,
Okay.
like especially when they're about to go in the field or something like that,
Uh-huh.
or when they're traveling like to a school.
Mhm.
They're supposed to use them.
I
then.
had a government card too that I used for travel and for
Now,
hotel.
There are several things about that.
I have a problem with that. But
One of those things with it opens a door to possible misuse, shall we say. Might not be totally intentional, but there's going to be some misuse. And also, it screws the people that you're doing business with, because generally government wants to work out the best deal with a company that they can do. Someone they can be doing business with all the time. Oh, I got to take my this in or that in to get it worked on, and here's my credit card. Here's the government credit card. Well, first of all, that poor contractor that's doing that work, he's had to give you the lowest bid because you're not going to go to him if his bid is not lower than the other guy, right?
for the most part, yeah.
So
True.
he's already cut his normal prices.
Mhm.
Say this particular job's $1,000, so he said, I'll do it for $900. Oh, okay. So you give him a credit card for $900. Then he has to pay 3.5% to the credit card company the contract, not the contract, yeah, the contractor, the business has to pay 3.5%. They don't get all of that $900. They get that $900 minus 3 or 3.5%. You know how that works?
I will
What's
tell you.
3% on $1,000?
I
That's
will.
$30 right there.
Okay.
I will tell you, as a government credit card holder,
Mm-hmm.
that before I used a credit card, like say I was traveling, because I traveled a lot at one period, I had to fill out a form that shows the estimated cost of the hotel room each night, estimated mileage. Everything had to be pre-approved before I was allowed to put it on that credit card.
I don't think that's happening now.
It does happen.
That's the way the post office does
in some
it.
cases, it is happening, and the Marine Corps as well. Because another place that I was familiar with, they would
Right.
call and say, "How much is this going to cost?" Yada 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 yada. Then we'd have to give them the best rate, and then of
That's
course
right.
they were being a regular customer, they would get a different price.
And we were only allowed to spend so much on hotel rooms. Like you couldn't go submit a request for a hotel room that was like $130 a night. They capped it off no more than like $95 a night, which you could find some beautiful hotels for that, but you had to do everything. Back then when I did it. But I can tell you that also, if you like stayed in a hotel that offered free breakfast, you had to list that on your form because they would give you per diem every day.
And
but if you were getting food off the expense of the hotel, then that came off the per diem. So the post office was pretty tight on it. But Doge doing all this.
How many people do you think actually listed that?
Probably no one.
Okay.
Probably no one. I mean, why would you? Maybe you didn't want to eat that. Maybe you didn't want their hard bagel. But Doge is talking about now that they've set a new rule in place that all grantees must provide receipts for their expenditures and purchases before the funding is released back to them. So good for them. Good for them. We've got a couple people reporting in on social media on our Facebook.
Yes.
Kyle from Southwest says it's cold out here from the front and back porch. Tom from right down here off of 030 says it looks like some limbs on the cedar tree in my yard or one half broke off. We'll have to trim them off. And Kathy from the Rhodstown area said she was out at 4:00 this morning and listened to the trees crackling. And that's Kyle calling in now.
Kyle is calling in now. That sounds
Yeah,
like
I
a
just
good thing.
spoke his
Kyle
name
calling.
and
Hey,
there
Kyle,
he is.
how are you? Magic. Where did he go?
Hello.
There you
There
are.
you are.
Good morning, y'all.
How are
I
you?
listen to y'all doing well. Listen to y'all every morning. And I
Thank
took
you.
your advice, Mr. Rayford, and put the chili on the pot after 9 o'clock. went to the commissary and got, I do a 2-to-1 ratio with beef and pork. And then my son cut all the vegetables up. And wanted to share that it's cold as hell out here in the Southwest.
I understand.
Sure enough, is.
Yeah. But wanted to celebrate him because he's graduating high school this year.
Yay.
And going through the admission process for college. And he got accepted to my alma mater, which was one of his goals, and Washington State University. So
Nice.
shout out to him.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But everything you guys talk about and say is on point, and it's nice to wake up and just have you guys be a part of the morning. Here in the
So
house,
nice.
and hear your voices is like a comforting thing.
Well, we appreciate you. Kyle, we really do appreciate you saying that. We get up here, we're just normal people. We don't have an agenda when we get started in the morning. I don't. And the night before, I always look at everything I can look at and see what's going on. And some days I don't pay any attention to any of what I looked at, and I just start rambling.
Well, Kyle, that was so nice. And anytime you want to come in and share a morning with us, let me know.
Come on
Let
down.
us
We
know.
got places.
Yeah.
We've got chairs.
Yeah,
And if
yeah,
you, does any of that chili that you cook have Bambi in it?
no, Bambi.
No, but you could
I
bring the
don't. I
chili.
don't. You know, I got done shooting things a long time ago,
Mhm.
and I
like
don't
him.
do anything else anymore. So,
Kelly and I like you.
So today's recipe is cast iron cornbread. So,
Oh.
yep. So I got my packets here, and I got my so long time ago, someone told me to get the cream corn, and that is like
Yum.
it takes the place of milk on all these
Yum.
recipes.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm about ready to warm. Well, actually, I'm about ready. The skeleton warming up right now with
Okay. So,
butter in the bottom,
oh,
and then we're gonna put everything in the bottom of the cast iron. Anyhow,
no
I just want
margarine.
to tell you guys thank you.
Well,
And,
thank you, Kyle. That
God, we
was
do
thank
appreciate
you.
that. And
Nice
if you didn't live
one,
all the
Kyle.
way out there in the Southwest, I'd be joining you in about 2 minutes. Because I love
Yeah,
that kind of
I
cornbread.
have
Hey,
one question for
find me
corn.
on the big boat at the marina. So,
Okay. Gotcha.
all right.
Kyle, thank you, sir.
Sure, yes, sir.
All right.
Have a
Thank
great
you,
day.
Kyle.
That was
Yeah,
a nice call. Yeah.
That was a very nice call. I have a question to ask you talking about cornbread.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever taken cornbread,
Uh-huh.
crumbled it up, and put it in a glass and poured milk over
I haven't
it?
done that. No.
Yeah, a
I
lot of
crumbled it up and put it in chili and put it in
yeah.
every
I
soup.
remember my mama. I
Really?
remember. Yeah, that was a thing to crumble up the cornbread and put it in a glass, pour milk over,
Cold
and
milk.
you eat it. Yeah. I mean, I've done it a couple times as a kid. I was not a big fan of it, but I know, like anybody out there do it.
Yeah.
I bet Joy would know.
I bet you Timmy would do
I
it.
bet Jennifer would know.
Oh, I guarantee Jennifer does it.
Yeah, but it
She
just
probably-
made me. It brought back that memory. Him talking about
Uh-huh.
cornbread in a cast iron skillet.
In a cast iron frying pan or whatever you want to call it,
Yes.
they got some special devices you can put cornbread mix in, and it comes out looking cool
Hey,
and cute.
Food Line's open.
But
Let's
just
go
a
get
good
let's
old
go get
cast
some.
iron frying pan, a big one,
Yes.
but you're going to wish you had more.
Yeah.
And you put it in there. My grandmother used to do that. Oh, and she'd just leave it on the stove. She'd cut it up and
Yes.
just leave it on
Eat
the
it
stove.
all
And
day long.
time I get by there, and there it is. It's still really good and
Yes.
moist
Yes.
and
Mhm.
flavorful.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nah.
Especially if you put a little bit of that bacon grease in the bottom of the cast iron skillet and pour that cornmeal
Bacon grease.
in. Yeah,
No, I
bacon
put the whole bacon.
grease.
Fry the bacon and put that
Yeah.
put that stuff in there. I wonder how that would be actually.
I've done
Pour a
I've-
mixture right
yeah.
over bacon while it's frying.
Being a Southern girl, that's the way we grew up. You know, a lot of cornbread and veggies.
Yeah.
I wish I could get back into that.
You could if you took the time.
Don't want to.
Trump, I guess, things, he's shutting down stuff, right?
Yes.
I saw last night. I just saw the headline and I didn't read any further because I was a little busy with other things around here. Going to shut down Medicaid, not Medicare,
Jennifer.
Medicaid.
Yes.
Going to do all sorts of things like that. We keep hearing that. I don't know. I'm glad, and Jennifer, hang in there. I'll be right with you. I'm glad, unlike a few of our liberal legislators, and I'm sorry for the federal employees who've been feeding at the public trough for all these decades. There are folks that are upset. But you know what? You should have known it wasn't going to last forever. Let me just read to you very quickly. Jennifer, don't go away, okay? I'm going to read to you. It's kind of long, but it's short. Some of the stuff that's been highlighted that they're taking a look at. $10 million a year on an empty office building, one empty office building that they're having to maintain for $10 million a year. $3 million to the State Department to censor conservatives. There's a special program in the State Department to keep conservatives under control. They don't call it that, but that's what the bottom line is. $2 million to fund health and human services for a study on Facebook for children to see how they react to food advertisements. $2 million to fund health and human services for a study on Facebook for children to see how they react to food advertisements. $419,000 to study rats to see if lonely rats are more likely to use cocaine. $4.8 million for Ukraine influencers, not for aid to Ukraine.
Stop.
Another different story. For the Ukraine influencers, $365,000 for the National Endowment of the Arts promoting circuses in national parks. A circus in a national park.
Why should that even be a thing?
$10 million for girl climate activism in Brazil. We are paying for this. $875,000 to fund films in the country of Jordan. Films. $345,000 to fight terrorism in soccer. $288,000 for diversity in bird watching. Diversity in bird watching.
What's diversity in bird
That
watching?
means you got to look at an equal number of cardinals and blackbirds, or male and female bird. I don't know.
That doesn't mean the person that's watching. I don't know.
$500,000 to Ethiopia to expand its media presence.
But why are we responsible for Ethiopia's media presence?
$7 million for magic-related and magic-believe projects. $7 million. $2 million for border security in the country of Paraguay. $385,000 for a pigeon statue in New York City. They're going to build a statue of a pigeon in New York City. Well, the pigeons are
For
going to
$2 million?
$385,000.
My solution to that, put a couple of dumpsters out there with paint a pigeon on it. There you go.
No problem. The pigeons are going to poop on that just like they do anything else.
That's right.
Yes. What is happening?
$20 million for fertilizer research abroad.
What's that mean?
We're going to go
We
see
can't-
how they use fertilizer in Africa.
Well, why do we care?
How many years have we been using fertilizer? We're still here. Why do we need a stop?
$123,000 to teach viral video research in the country of Kazakhstan. $1.5 million to spin kittens. Hold your George. Hold on.
Oh, no.
$1.5 million, Jennifer, you gonna love this one, to spin kittens for science to study motion sickness.
What?
Jennifer,
That's
are you-
animal cruelty
It
right
is
there.
animal cruelty.
Hey, Jennifer,
I will
how are you?
Eel. I mean, first of all, I'm standing here looking at this beautiful snow. We've got so much beautiful
Wow.
snow.
I'm glad you do.
18 degrees, feels like 12,
Mhm.
but it is. Now, we had snow yesterday, but I mean, Terry had his post-op and all that, and the roads were absolutely wonderful. I don't think they realized. I think this kind of snuck in on everybody last night, but anywho, it's pretty.
Mhm.
But no, I never did the cornbread milk, but my mom and daddy and Mama and all them,
Uh-huh.
they
Yeah.
did it all the time. Any leftover cornbread, they had it milk, and I said, well, more power to you. But I didn't ever care for it.
I just don't remember any leftover cornbread.
Or buttermilk,
We ate
too. Yeah.
All of this, I do not understand how the people have a problem, how they think that all of that is right, how they think that there's a problem with Doge looking into this. It just blows my mind that they could think that spinning little kittens around
Oh, God.
is better than housing and care for the veterans.
Just give me some
That
people.
it's better. I mean, my God, they can take that money and put a blooming wreath on every grave
Oh, yeah.
for wreaths across America.
Forever.
I mean, forever. They can tell me, and I'm not trying to get on my soapbox, but here I am anyways. They can tell me, well, I'm sorry, ma'am, there is no caregiver benefits for your husband. But they can study manure in Africa.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Elephant poop.
I mean, come on. I mean, it's unfathomable that they actually think, and we're paying these idiots. We're paying them. $174,000 a year salary is $83 an hour that we're paying the likes of them stupid people to stand up there on the side of the road with a microphone and scream and chant and sing.
Mm-hmm.
Chuck and Maxine and all them, somebody needs to take them by the hand and take them home, take them to the nursing home, take Mitch McConnell with them. I mean, it just blows my mind.
Well, they could name the place. They could have a new facility for them, and they could name it after Joe Biden. I think that would be very appropriate, and put all of these people like Joe Biden in there. Done?
Take them to Chernobyl. Open it back up.
Okay.
It's a good facility for them. If we can open Gitmo for them, well, we can send them somewhere.
Do you have an alarm clock?
10 nuclear plants just about 40 miles from me.
Do you have an alarm clock? Do you and Terry have an alarm clock?
Terry sets his phone every single morning, Monday through Friday, for 6:55.
Do you know that you and I and these ladies here and the rest of Americans who pay taxes, we've provided $1.5 million to the Bureau of Alarm Clock Testing. It's better than this. Hold on.
Rayford, you get me so
$3 million
worked up.
to the Office of Puddle Depth Management.
You stop right now. You stop this right now, Rayford.
$2.3 million to the Federal Balloon Animal Testing Academy to learn how to twist balloons into animal figures. My dollars are going to do this.
And I've seen days where you barely have
Now-
enough money to buy groceries.
You just should have twisted some balloons.
Now you take these older people.
Mm.
I know I know it is the truth. Older people, younger people, whatever. Food stamps, $12 a month.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all they can give them.
Yes.
$12 a month.
I've got clients on
Older
disability.
people on
16 a month.
Social Security
Yeah.
that aren't getting but like $800 a month.
That's right.
Or whatever. But they can't give them anything else.
Nope.
But they can study balloon animals in the depths of the puddle. I mean, come on. It's just...
Well, how do you get that job to be the puddle tester where they're going to pay you to jump in puddles? Because I'll do it. But how much am I going to get paid?
Well, no.
Probably way too
I don't
much.
know.
Agreed.
There's some guy complaining that he got fired for his job, and his job was doing a study on what makes the wheels on the bus go
Oh,
round.
you stop. No. Mm-mm.
It's like the woodchuck department.
There you go.
They're up there now. I saw a guy on the news yesterday. They're up there screaming and hollering about how many people on the airplane, and he was with Delta Airlines. Did you see that? And they were saying how Trump's blah blah blah. Anyways, it's all Trump's fault.
Yep,
That
is.
he cut these jobs. And the guy from Delta told him he told them exactly how many employees they had, and that there had only been however many employees cut, and those employees had nothing to do with anything. I mean, he pretty much shut them down, and I was like, there you go. That's what they need, more people to stand up to them and say, no, this isn't right.
Our legislators, those in the Senate, those in the House, they are asked to approve certain things periodically, right? They want to set up a program, and quite often they will have one they'll put an expiration date on it. Okay, the NASA Authorization Act of 2017, it expired in 2018. It's still going on. They get $25 billion a year, even though they do not go back and renew it or reapprove it. It doesn't come up again. It's still going on forever and ever and ever. $7 billion annually to the Energy Policy Act of 2005, which actually expired in 2006 and is still operational today.
Mm-hmm.
$9 billion annually to the Workforce and Opportunities Act of 2014, which expired in 2015, 10 years ago. It's still going on
You're
today.
making my chest hurt.
I'm getting aggravated.
You really are. We, the people, need to be so aggravated. We need to protest.
All of these people that identify as, whatever. I want to identify as one of those, however many people that's like 150 years old and get Social Security checks.
Yep.
Let me just identify as one of them and send me something on.
Yeah, one time.
I'll give it back to the economy. I mean, I'll go shopping with it.
Yeah,
I want to be the one that's 369 years old.
Yeah,
I want to be that one.
I just want some back pay on all those days.
Man. Where the money
It-
man.
And they could take, and everybody's screaming, well, send rebate checks, give checks to the people. I get that, but at the same time, they could take that money
Mm-hmm.
and they could rebuild Western North Carolina.
Thank you.
They could rebuild out there from the fires in California.
Absolutely.
I
They
agree.
could do so much more with it other than doing the exact same thing with the COVID stimulus checks when everybody ran out like they were payday rich for a day and run out and got their big screen TVs and all that. They didn't do anything they were supposed to do with it.
She's
Yeah, right.
right. She's right.
And that's what they're going to do. If they send them a $5,000 check, they're going to run out. And 3 days from now, they're going to be wondering how to pay the light bill to keep the lights on so they can watch that big screen TV.
That's right.
I mean, so take that money and do good. Build some more blooming hospitals or veteran centers or, as I say, rebuild Western North Carolina.
Mhm.
Rebuild these bridges. There's so much more you can do with it. I've got 3 cats. They're not going to like it, but I can take one and spin them around on the floor and see if it makes them dizzy. I'm not going to. I think that's cruel.
Well, just put them on my boat. I'll take them for a ride on a bumpy day. We'll find out just when they get sick. I personally, I'd use prisoners for that.
There's so much more that can be done with that money to help the American people. There's
So here's who we have to blame. We got 535 men and women. Well, men, women, and whatevers. We've got that 3 groups of people. And they're up there. They are, everything that I've read you this morning had an expiration date on it. And it's still going on. They have the responsibility themselves, all 535 of them. Do not let them get away with this. They have the responsibility to make sure that these programs expire and nobody else is continuing to pay money on it unless we reapprove it. They reapprove it.
Mhm.
And they will not come out. And when they run for election every 2 years or every 6 years for a senator, they will not come out and say, hey, we're going to reapprove this thing on the $25 billion every year for National Authorization Act of 2017, or this $7 billion annually for the energy policy of 2005 that it's already been expired since 2000. We can't tell you that we're going to approve it again. We're just going to let it ride. It's going anyway. We're going to pay it. Y'all going to pay for it.
There's so many excuses.
I'm waiting for a reason.
But yet they say, oh, well, it just slipped through, or we didn't know, or whatever. They do know. And all of these people that about Doge doesn't have any business in there looking. Let me tell you something. When Terry Blizzard came home from the hospital after he had his stroke, and we had our phone interview to get his disability.
Oh, yeah.
Now, me and Terry had been married for almost 30 years.
Wow.
He had been divorced for almost 3 years when I ever even met him. Okay? They asked him, they asked him they said, when did you work at Cars Incorporated? Terry said, oh my Lord, I was a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
The lady says, oh, well, I've got the dates right here. When were you married to his ex-wife? He said, good Lord. He said, I don't remember when we got married. The lady said, well, you got married on blah, 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 blah. You got divorced on blah, 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 blah. She had everything, the man, and I'm sitting there looking at him like, well, why do we even have to call and go through this? They know. I don't care what they say.
Yep.
They know. They can push a button. She knew when he worked for Volkswagen.
Uh-huh.
She knew when he worked for Uncle Irvin. She knew everything. She knew every paycheck, everything that had ever been logged in. She knew it.
Yep.
And even as far as when he was married and divorced, and it had been over 30 years before.
But we've got
And
we've got
didn't have
several.
anything to do with his disability, but yet she wanted to know about it.
But we have millions and millions of illegal immigrants, aliens in this country today that they can't account for because they don't know where they are.
Exactly. Exactly.
Just putting it into perspective for you.
Mhm.
There are if every congressman and every senator in this country, 535 of them, would take on just to look at 2 programs a year each, that would be 1,070 programs. There are right now 1,200 programs running on autopilot, and that's amounting to $500 billion a year that
Right.
nobody even looks at because they're just on autopilot. If each one of our elected legislators would take on 2, that would take care of 1,070 of those 1,200 programs. A couple people could take on an extra one, I'm sure.
Well, I have to say, Jennifer,
Yeah,
you're
But
mad, aren't you?
nobody's looking at it.
You're mad, aren't you, Jennifer?
I hope so.
I'm very mad. I've been mad.
Every American citizen ought to be furious over this stuff.
I don't know why we're not. I
And
know
that's
why
what
I am.
That's what I don't understand is why they're not. Now, a good chunk of the ones that aren't mad, do you a little deep dive into them, and it's not going to take you long to find out why they're not mad.
They're making money off of it.
They're
So that
living
bucket.
just as, I don't know if I ever told you this story or not, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you. When COVID hit and I was making masks, I know you know that because
Yep.
I brought y'all some over there.
You did.
Mhm.
There was 2 or 3 companies that contacted me that I did tell them, yeah, I'll make them for, the first company told me what they would pay, and it was two or three little small construction companies, but they needed them for their employees.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I never charged anybody. If they wanted to pay me anything to help on materials, that was fine.
Wow.
But I did not charge for them. I had a lady come to our house to pick up some masks for her and her husband and, their family. And I was standing out on the front porch taking a picture of a wreath on the front door. And she pulls up. I had never met her. And she said something about it. And I said, I make wreaths to help support. And I did. I told her, I said, well, that's what I do, supplement my husband's disability check. She looked me right straight in the eyes and she said, you don't get paid to take care of him? And I said, well, no, ma'am. And she said, I get paid to take care of my husband.
Yep.
I said, really? And she said, well, yeah. She said, he had been in the military. And then he was overseas, wherever, on a contract. He was not active duty. He had retired
Mm-hmm.
and was working. And hurt his back. Hurt his back.
Yep.
Now, this lady sent me a friend request on Facebook and would post videos of her husband walking down trails with their horse and put, oh, it's so good. It's such good therapy. And I thought, you're getting paid to take care of a man that you're walking behind filming. And my husband can't wipe his butt by himself. And yes, I said that.
Mm.
And I don't get nothing. My husband can't prepare any meal. He cannot get in and out of bed on his own. He cannot take a shower on his own. But you're getting paid because your husband at one time was in the military. Now make that make sense. Make it make sense. It
A lot
doesn't.
of things wrong with the system.
We've seen it.
Yes.
I've seen it up close and
Yeah.
personal here too.
Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just not right. So take that $5,000 a person that everybody's screaming that Doge could take in the country, you know, everybody, every taxpayer could get these rebate checks. Take mine and help somebody else.
I like that.
Take mine
Wow.
and put it towards a bridge in western North Carolina. Put it towards the bridge right here in Irwin, Tennessee. It's about 35 miles from us.
Mm-hmm.
Put it towards that.
Good suggestion.
You know, that's what I want you to do with mine.
Gotcha.
You know, just put it towards somebody else. Mine will come. I'll get my due one day. But just give mine to somebody else.
Jennifer, glad to have you part of our
Thank
family.
you, Jennifer. I
Y'all
knew we'd
have a
get
good
her
day.
out.
There needs to be
Calm down.
there needs to be at least 2 loudmouths in this family, and I guess you and I are it.
Well, I am definitely a loudmouth. I
Okay.
most definitely am. And if somebody would give me a stump to stand up and stand on and give me an audience, I'd certainly scream it to them.
You've got one
Y'all
right
have a
here.
good
Okay,
day.
thank you, Jennifer. You take care. Wow.
Bye-bye.
You know, it's about Miller time now.
Yes, it is.
Did you know something while we were waiting for Chris?
What's
I
that?
bet you he doesn't even know this. There's a guy named G.E. Miller from the 1940s.
Mm-hmm.
And J.E. Miller from the 1940s.
All right.
He came up with something called the Miller classification system. Uh-huh.
Where are we going?
God, who knows? What's
Where are we going?
Well, this is a fact, Jack.
Uh-huh.
And he came up with this system to measure and categorize types of storms. In the beginning of the 1940s, there were only 2, Miller Type A and Miller Type B. They were nor'easters, hurricane force type winds that happen in the fall and during the wintertime, like we have around here from time to time. And Chris, are you related by any chance
You
to
trying to say
J.E.?
he- A lot of air.
Where'd he go? Chris? Chris?
See, now you've made him mad.
I don't
Oh, I haven't. It's there. Where are you, Chris?
Try the other one.
He's laughing. I hear him in the background.
No, that's Kathy.
Oh, it's Kathy.
Kathy.
Oh.
Who said it was Chris?
Well,
It's all-
Chris said he was calling as soon as Jennifer hung
Okay,
up.
so it's Kathy.
So we were expecting Chris to be on the phone.
Kathy, you got any windstorms named after you?
No, I said no, haven't I? But no, I'm not calling about any kind of weather because I think we all know what it is. But all you have to do is step outside and you will know what the weather is.
Uh-huh.
So, but mine is on a lighter note of something that Rayford that you taught me about getting rid of junk mail, how to get rid of it, about taking the postage prepaid envelopes and
Yeah.
sending it back to them.
Listen, listen,
With,
Rayford
with
giggling.
prize for 'em. So I did that with some rocks, and I want you to know I got that. I got that package back. It took about 3 weeks, but I got it back. They sent it back to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Well, so they had to pay for it. They had to pay for it twice. Is that what you're saying?
twice.
Wow.
Yes, he did.
I bet you're going to be on their list.
I am on. I know I'm on their list, but hopefully I'm. Well, no, I'm not on their list anymore.
Well,
That's probably a good thing.
they moved you over to that other
Yeah.
list. Don't mess
Yeah,
with
it
her.
was really quite funny. When I picked that box up, I was like, I don't know, that ornament was so heavy. And when I opened it up, I was like, holy crap.
Here it comes.
Rock I sent back. I was like, I got to call Ray to tell him. But
Well,
I
that's
got my mail back.
I feel good about that. Sorry.
You do? Well, then I'm going to mail those rocks to you.
Oh, no, don't do that. You have to pay for them.
Did you put a
I don't
return
want- I don't
address
want
on the
rocks.
box?
Was there an address on the box?
I mean, did you put a return
Oh,
address on the
Apparently
box? You did?
No.
Oh, well,
No.
how did it come back to
It was
you?
a postage paid one. So I don't know if there was an address on that.
But it didn't have your return address on it. How do they know it was
did.
you?
It may have on
No.
the envelope that she attached to it, the postage paid envelope.
Well,
Sometimes they do that.
I don't know. I don't know. It just had their name, postage paid, and then there was a spot where you could put your name. And I usually use labels, and I did not do that.
Okay.
So
Well,
I don't
something
know.
happened. Maybe they refused
I have no
delivery and it was returned to sender.
I think I don't know what they did, but it looks like it had been opened from the bottom,
Ah,
not from the top. So when they opened it up at the bottom and they saw, okay, what's the deal with this? Send it back, you know.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but yeah, Chris and I just laughed over that. We were like, oh my
It was
god.
one of those suspicious packages there.
Excuse me. Life is like a
so
box
next
of
time I'll try
rocks.
something different. Because rocks don't work. So,
Okay.
when we come up with a different one, let me know.
Ice would be nice.
Yeah, I could go out and do that. Just shake the trees a little bit.
There you go. All
Wow.
right.
Yeah, but you guys have a good day.
Thank
Stay
you,
warm,
Kathy.
and we it's almost Friday. So the weekend is almost here. So
Yeah, it's Friday
enjoy.
Eve.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, Kathy. Take care.
All right. Chris Miller, call now. He's
Okay,
been
Chris, where
trying
are
to
you?
call.
He tried to call?
Yes, and evidently one of our lines is out because yesterday somebody had said that when they tried to call, they kept getting a busy signal. So there you go. Wait a minute. Let me look and make sure this is Chris.
Before I step on it again, is this Chris? Chris, is this
Yes,
you?
it is.
Hey, Chris, how
There
are
he
you?
is.
I'm doing good. Good morning, my friends. How's everybody doing this
Doing
Good
fine.
morning.
So you've got a name that's comes after a guy that started categorizing hurricane type winds known as nor'easters along the coast here, right?
Oh, yeah, that sounds very interesting. Tell us more.
Yeah, well, I mean, started out initially as just two of them, type A and type B. They were both Miller type A and Miller type B. Now they've got them up to type E.
What?
Yeah, type E. Miller E.
Well, I'm sure that information will come in handy for me down the road. Thank
I'm
you,
sure-
Ray.
you may end up on Jeopardy or something like
The
that.
only thing Chris knows is like type 6A, type 7A, which we need to
Yeah, we need
discuss.
to discuss that stuff. I'm confused. We had 1 through 4 forever when I
Now
was in
it's
school.
1 through
Now
7.
we got what? We got a category for everybody, a classification for everybody.
Oh, yeah. So starting next school year, we'll go to 8 classifications. So you'll have 8 state champions in a lot of your different sports,
Wow.
and it's really readjusted the realignment process. So we're going to see how that situation goes. They haven't finalized like who's going to be in this conference or that conference yet.
That's what I wanted
They're not
to
going to
know.
finalize that until probably about April or so. But it's very interesting how things are going to, how the landscape may shake up.
Well, can we campaign for which one we want and who we want to be in,
I looked at what
in our
we're in.
category?
Well, I will say this: ideally, in a perfect world, all of the local schools, particularly Onslow County, but I would factor in a school like Croatan and East Steuben and schools like that, they would all be in the same conference, because I think if you from top to bottom, from the top sport to the bottom sport, everything would come out pretty even. I mean, you'd have some schools be dominant in football or basketball or baseball, but then there's other schools that struggle in those sports would be dominant in, let's say, volleyball or soccer or softball, whatever. So I think
Tiddlywinks.
everything would kind of, it'd be kind of everything would be even down the stretch. But as it stands now, like Jacksonville, Swansboro, and White Oak would be in a 6A, 7A conference with like Conley, South Central, J.H. Rose, and New Bern High School.
Can we take South Central out of the equation now? Can we
well,
move them?
You couldn't take South Central out because that's toward Greenville. And
Right.
they're going to definitely keep D.H. Conley. They're going to keep all the Greenville area schools together. So if you took out South Central, you'd have to take out the other Greenville schools. But yeah, like I said, it's a little bit of a tough task having to travel to Greenville multiple times throughout the season. But Jacksonville's been used to it the last 3-4 years, and you know the way things work out, Swansboro White Oak will be doing the same as well.
Yeah, well, explain to those that don't understand what these conference numbers mean. What are they based on?
They're based off the student body attendance of every school. So, for example, you look at Lejeune High School, which doesn't have a lot of students. They're obviously not going to be paired up with a school like New Bern High School that has quite a few thousand students, in their student body. So they're going to pair up somebody like Lejeune with a school like Jones Senior and East Carteret, smaller schools and smaller communities. Whereas somebody like New Bern will, somebody like Jacksonville can, even though New Bern's a little bit bigger than Jacksonville and New Bern are similar. Student, there's not much discrepancy between those student bodies. So that's the reason why they try to group schools as close as possible for the student body number.
Yeah, and I understand that. Places like Camp Lejeune, all right,
Mm-hmm.
they've got a limited number of students there. They have a limited number of people to choose who really want to play sports. So their numbers of the avails that are available to play are much lower.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't necessarily get the best of the best. They get the best of the right.
Exactly. So,
Okay, so
some of these, a big high school, let's say in the Charlotte area, will have, maybe that has 5,000 students in their student body. They have no problem finding athletes. But a school like Lejeune High School, a board base, they're just lucky to be able to the football team or a baseball team. So it's there's definitely a big discrepancy like that. You wouldn't want somebody like Lejeune having to go up against somebody like Jacksonville. It's just on a regular basis, especially in a sport like football.
Yeah.
In other sports like cross country and things like that, there are sports that Lejeune can definitely win against some of those schools. So those are a little bit easier, not easy in the sense of competitive, but they're easy in the sense of being able to put a team together. If that makes sense.
Well, they don't have to. They don't have to get 30 football players together, because you're going to have at least 30 to have a good team going, right? When you
exactly.
count for defense and offense.
Where some of these small schools only have maybe 15 or 16 football players.
Yeah, that's a problem.
So
you need 11 people on the field on each team.
Exactly. Well, in my opinion, I think 8 was a little bit too much. I think you start watering it down, and so I would have gone maybe 5 or 6. But this is what the principals and the athletic department voted on last year, and we'll see how this goes for the next realignment process. And so with this new realignment process and scheduling changes, for the first time in 20-some years, Jacksonville and Southwest will actually not be open up the football season this year against each other. So that's going to be very interesting, having some new schedules.
Are we going to go back to Jacksonville and White Oak? They used to open up.
So. I think Jacksonville and White Oak will continue to play football, but a word has it that Jacksonville will open up the season against West Carteret in August, and Southwest Onslow will play I think Aiden Griffin in to open up the season this year. So it's like I said, it's going to be very interesting.
Well, you were talking about what if all the schools here in Onslow were like of the same number and they were all in the same conference. Could you imagine the rivalry in this town?
Oh, it would be great. It would make my job a lot easier, and if everybody was in the same, the classification and same conference, it would make my job a lot easier. But and I know it's easy for us to want that, and I wish it could happen too. But you also got to, I think sometimes people forget that there's other schools like West Carteret and Croatan and East Carteret and Havelock and New Bern and West Craven and Craven County that are right along our county border that, they don't really have a place to go. So if they can join the Oslo conference if they want to, but then you start talking about 14 or 15 teams in a group. So
that would be a problem.
That would be a problem. So it's kind of there's really not a perfect solution.
Right.
Well, we shall see how it. Say we have until what, April, before they make the final decision.
Yeah, I think the Swansboro has appealed because they don't want to be in that conference. They want to be in they want to be in a different conference with some of the like Dixon and Richlands and some of those. Even though Swansboro is a class bigger than those, but they're appealing to be in that conference. We'll see how that goes. Most of the time, those appeals kind of fall on deaf ears because the decision's kind of already unofficially been made. But we'll see how it goes, and we just wish everybody the best luck going forward.
It's going to be interesting.
It'll be a fight at the OK Corral. Here we go again.
Yeah. Well, at least Rayford, some of the schools listed in this conference, they allow hot chocolate.
They all will allow it if I go. They might not realize it.
Havelock's not on the list. We might have to play them.
They may not realize it, but you know what? They got these bladders that are available now. I will have hot chocolate from now on when it's cold.
And a colostomy bag?
I just hope the General Assembly doesn't get involved.
Oh God!
I think the more times the General Assembly gets involved in high school, and this is my rant and rave for the day.
Well, I don't mind if they get involved. If they can show me that they have cleared out all of the other crap businesses up there to be done that affects all of us, if they can get all of that taken care of to my satisfaction, then they can take on high school football. But in the meantime, leave it alone.
Exactly.
Agree with that.
Because y'all don't know nothing.
I know one state legislator that would probably try to have it changed for his favorite school. Chris and I are on the same page.
On a more positive note, I did want to highlight a few area athletes. We had 3 area or 2 Onslow County athletes, and then another one from Croatan this past weekend win indoor track and field state championships individual.
Excellent.
We had a Jacksonville senior Lauren Golson win the indoor state high jump championship on Saturday. We had a young man named Nelson Guerrero from Croatan win the 1,000-meter indoor state championship, and then we had a young man, Swansboro senior James Unesis, that won the pole vault indoor state title. So anytime we have a team or an individual win a state championship at the high school level, it is pretty neat, and it's pretty cool to see that. So we were able to do little stories on all 3 of those winners, and it's, like I said, it's pretty neat.
Okay. Well, there's good news out there in the sports arena. Hopefully they'll leave the politics out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it.
Well, it's not far away.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next week. Stay dry.
Thanks, Chris.
Stay warm.
Wow.
Yeah, stay warm.
Yeah, I saw that new list come out, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
But it's not too bad.
County gale warning goes into effect again tonight. Will last through, this afternoon. And going to last through late tonight. I told you we're not going to really do marine weather. I'm just going to tell you what things are. 5 to 7 foot seas, gust up to 30 knots. No, don't.
Stay out of the water, people.
Then tomorrow.
Theo.
Pretty much the same thing to begin with. Friday in the afternoon, it'll start to come down as far as the waves are concerned. So that'll be a little bit better. Is it going to get any warmer ever?
Well, today, mostly cloudy, and the high today will only be 33. So that's literally 1 degree above freezing. The winds will be from the northwest, 7 to 11 miles an hour, and we will have 17-mile-an-hour gusts. Tonight, it will be clear, cold, and 19 degrees with 16-mile-an-hour gusts. Tomorrow, sunny, high of 41, 15-mile-an-hour gusts. Tomorrow night, clear, once again, very cold, low of 17. And on Saturday, mostly sunny, a high of 48. It's just going to be cold until, like I said, it
Heat
starts
wave.
to warm up Sunday will be 56, but Monday 60. But by Wednesday, it looks like it's going to be 66 and sunny. So that's going to
We'll
feel
take that.
great.
And Saturday for you guys who want to get in your boat, 2 to 3 footers, 1 foot near shore.
There you go.
Okay,
There you
that'll be
go.
good.
Mm-mm.
And this is Theo. He's getting ready for football season. Do you have your
Yes.
helmet so you can go watch some football games, Theo?
Come with
Good
us.
morning, deplorable.
How are you?
So listen, Chris, you're recategorizing football season, the legalized brutality. Are you recategorizing the injuries all these kids are going to get? The knee injuries, the ankle injury, the shoulder injuries, the concussions. You're going to what happens with all that? How are you going to figure that out? But anyway, Kelly, I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Why isn't she, Jennifer, getting any help for her husband?
She has tried doing that for a really long time.
Her husband gets it. She's been turned down, even though she
Yeah.
had to quit her job so she could be a full-time caregiver
Yeah.
for him, because he cannot, as she said, he cannot do anything. He gets around in his wheelchair a little bit, but she pushes him most everywhere he goes.
Yep.
He's able to work with his hands some, because I've seen some of the work that he does.
Beautiful.
And he does a great job of it. He's made the best of the worst possible situation. But she, being dedicated, oh my God, talk about
Yeah.
dedication. I know it well because Terry's my cousin, and Jennifer, she's become my cousin.
Mm-hmm.
Cousin because I like her.
When you have a disabled family member,
Yep.
Mhm.
don't they give you the money instead of having somebody to take care of them? I thought
Nope.
that was normal.
No, that's not how that works.
No, you
What
got
do
to
you mean,
fight.
no?
You got to fight for it.
Mm-hmm. And
So what's holding them from giving it to her? Anything special about it?
there's just no, I'm going to use the word rule on it. There's no rule for that. Just like there's no rule for elderly individuals to have like home health aid come in.
Nope.
Insurance doesn't cover that either.
Mm-mm.
Like a
So
caregiver.
she can't get anything in Tennessee either?
No.
No. Mm-mm.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
I agree.
That's crazy. That I don't agree with.
I don't
Because
agree with it either.
If that
Yeah.
person needs help, if you're not around,
Mm-hmm.
if a family member is not around, they're going to have to pay somebody to take care of them. So if a family member takes the time to take care of them and goes through all the things that this person needs, should be getting paid. And not be proud of getting the money. That's the way it is.
The VA does that, but not that's only for veterans, but for just the general public, they don't have that. And I do agree it should be, or I also agree there should be built into the insurance payment for like a caregiver during the day, that kind of thing. And
Yep.
yes, Blue Cross has that one, but it's only equal to like 20 weeks a year or something. But if your loved one, and I'm speaking from personal experience here, needs around, during the day care, what you don't have that. You have to pay out of pocket for it, and it's expensive.
All right, so Rayford, you got 2 stories you have to retract. One is I just read that Elon Musk misread the Social Security data of millions of dead people not on benefits. Okay,
Is
that
that
are over 150 years old. That wasn't true.
Uh-huh.
The other story wasn't true. Was that $50 million of condoms went to Gaza and Hamas? That's not true either.
Yeah, I never
you
said that.
look into it.
That one
You
I
look
never
into
said. That one I never
Okay.
said. Some other media did say
Okay.
that. I did not say that one.
Okay, so your office there said it. So now you're going to have to look up and retract it and say sorry on your fans here, on your listeners. Okay, that's one story. Okay, so now you said you voted for Donald Trump and he promised you to do this and that, right?
Yep.
He promised you the economy and he also promised you immigration. Okay, did he promise you that you were going to go get Greenland? Did he promise you you're going to make Canada a 51st state? Did he promise you things with Mexico and the Gulf of Mexico is going to be turned to Gulf of America? Did he promise you those things? Was that on the menu?
There are a lot of things he did not promise that he's trying to. Hold on. There are a lot of things that nobody promises in a campaign that they decide they want to try. And, as far as Canada becoming the 51st state, that's not even possible. You understand that. And he does too. He's running his mouth. And Greenland, he's not going to be able to get Greenland. That's not going to happen.
Don't give him a pass. He's bullshitting. He's talking about this stuff to all of us. I'm a Democrat, and I got to listen to this for 4 years. Why are you putting me through this?
Oh, what did I have to listen to for 4 years? I'm not a Democrat nor a Republican.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay? All right? Okay, now, 30% of the military, of the government jobs are veterans. When he's purging all these jobs, 30% are veterans. You know who's losing their jobs? Thank you for your service.
What do you mean by that? 30% of our military are veterans. 100% of our military are active duty.
The government jobs.
Oh, okay.
30% of them are veterans.
You talk about the civilian jobs.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So 30% of the government jobs that he's cutting, these agencies, the FBI, this and that, all those jobs, UAID, all those are veterans. They get first choice for these jobs.
All of them are not veterans.
Okay, listen. 30% of the government jobs are for veterans. There are veterans on those jobs, so you get that. Can we understand the English language here?
I understand what you were saying. I do not know that. I hear you saying it.
You don't know that?
I do not know that. I haven't looked at it.
Okay, 30% of the government jobs are offered first to the veterans.
Okay, now you got a different story. You just said a different story. They are offered to veterans. They get preferential treatment if you are a veteran for a lot of federal jobs. Yes. That part is true.
Let me put it in a different way.
Okay.
All right. Military veterans make up 30% of the federal workforce. You got it?
Okay, that's what you say. I do not know that.
Okay, you look it up. Okay, you questioning me. It's fine. You can question me, but you look it up. So all these people that are being sent home right now, a lot of them are veterans. And a lot of them are disabled veterans. So when you say thank you for your job, okay, you got to mean it. Okay, did you vote for that? Lee, did you vote for that?
Did I vote for what?
Did you vote for 30% of the government force to be sent home like he's doing it right now? Lee, did you vote for that?
This is from the VA right here. While veterans' preference plays a key role in competitive hiring, VA also leverages other hiring authorities, such as the Veterans Recruitment Appointment and the 30% or more Disabled Veterans Authority. These non-competitive hiring processes do not use point or category-based ranking, but still prioritize veterans.
So who's losing their jobs in the government agencies?
Everybody.
Biggest question is, I want to ask you, Theo. You've probably
Did you vote for this? Did you vote for this? Be accountable. You voted for the government jobs? Is that what he promised you? That he was going to go in and purge the government with a lot of those jobs being to veterans? What are they supposed to do now? Especially disabled veterans. What are they supposed to do now?
Well, a lot of disabled veterans get.
Yeah, but besides all
benefits.
of that, Thea, does it matter whether they're veterans or whether they're somebody else, whether they're a retired farmer that's got a government job?
It doesn't matter now.
Let me ask you the question before you jump down my throat, Theo. I'll give you plenty of opportunity. Now, if you take it all there, right up front, do you support a fact that we have got people working and doing jobs where they are not needed, that they are creating, where they have created jobs that people are doing that are not needed to be there?
Tell me, are you guessing?
Those are the jobs that are being eliminated.
No, they're not. They're purging. They're sending 1,000 people home. They don't care if they're black, white, women, or anything. If they're qualified or not, they're sending them home. They just
It's not whether they're qualified, Theo. It's whether they're needed. Are they needed? Do we need those people?
How do they know?
Question.
How do they know in less than a month that they're not needed?
Because he's been
How do they
studying
know
longer
that?
than that. And besides, I'm going to count on people being a lot smarter than you and me making those decisions.
I have a question, Theo. For the last couple days, last week, and especially this morning, Rayford was reading a list of money as taxpayers we've been putting into the government, and the government has been writing checks to all these other countries for stupid things like spinning cats. I want to know, how do you feel? Does it make you mad that we've spent so much money on foolish stuff?
Foolish stuff?
And we
How
continue
many
doing it.
agencies did you say, Rayford, were all together? 1,000 of them? 1,200? How many?
No. I said there are 1,200 that are on an automatic pilot. In other words, they adopted these 1,200 agencies, and they have been running automatically without any supervision, and they get the same money year after year after year, even though they had expired perhaps as long as 10 years ago.
Okay, so listen. Because
No
we're
oversight.
running with Republicans, Democrats, why don't you ask those questions? Write that question down. So Mr. Greg Murphy, when he calls you up, tell him that and ask him what he's doing about it. And Tom Tillis, when he calls up, ask him what he's doing about it. Okay, then that's how you proceed.
That's what I intend to do. This is what I intend to do, because none of this was made available to us before. We did not know this. We had no clue without this audit.
Oh, what did you say? Why did you have to tell Greg Murphy? Why didn't he come and tell you?
Oh, that's right. Why didn't he come to tell me? Why didn't Senator Tillis? Why didn't all of them come?
Because I bet they didn't know.
First of all, did you hear what I said? I said, with these 1,200 programs that are running what they call an autopilot, right by themselves, nobody has any oversight on them whatsoever. They're running, and they get $500 billion a year. $500 billion a year for these 1,200 programs. I said that with the 535 people we have elected, you, me, and the rest of us have elected to sit up there in our House and Senate, 535 of them, they could take on 2 each, and that would take care of 1,070 of those that they could look at. The other 200 or less, 130, they could go back and look at them, divvy it up among the 535 we've elected. All they got to do is look at them and say, yes, this is a good program, or no, cut it out, right? Those are what we elected. Those are what we are supposed to do. And yes, I will be asking both of the aforementioned individuals the next time we have them on here, because I got this list permanently saved.
You write it down.
Oh, it's written down.
Write it down, because I'll be listening.
It's written down. It's here.
Jennifer wanted you to know, Theo, that you have to be on Medicaid or be a veteran to qualify for the aid that she needs for her husband. And that's why.
Okay, well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes.
I thought it was automatic when you have a disabled person in the house.
Nope.
And somebody, even if it's a family member, taking care of them. Okay, I know the aid goes in there, but we're talking about 24/7 service. The aid only goes there for what, an hour or something, 2 hours every 2
Some of
days
them, yes.
or whatever. I don't know, but I thought it was automatic.
But we can spend $1.5 million a year for the Bureau of Alarm Clock Testing, $2.3 million to the Federal Balloon Animal Testing Academy, Training Academy.
But I say we take that money and put
So
it
do
into
I.
this.
Okay.
Yes.
So
I would
how much
gut
is the
these.
all that money spent? How much is the budget being ruined by that, Rayford?
I haven't added all of them up. I got
Add it up.
I've got the 1,200 right here, just the 1,200 programs, $500 billion a year, $500 billion a year.
Okay, add it up and let us know what percentage of the budget all that money is. Okay, and then get on your congressman and your senators. Ask them, why is this stuff still going automatic?
That's what
let's see what they say.
That's what I'm saying. Why?
I bet they didn't know.
I'm going to ask.
I'm betting they didn't know. I think that's why Doge or Dodge or whatever it's called is uncovering. I think what's happening is they're uncovering things that nobody knew about.
That's right.
I'd like to know how long this has been happening. 15 years? What?
Sorry.
What?
I just told you they came out with a false. They read the Social Security papers wrong, and they're accusing people, what you put on your show the other day, that millions of dollars are going to people that are 150 years old and they're on the Social Security for years.
We didn't say they were getting paid.
I think they were on the list. They weren't getting money
Yeah, they weren't getting money, but they were still in the
Why are they even on the list?
because nobody purged
Nobody
them.
purged them.
It's like
So
dead
you are
voters on the
voting
list.
to purge the government jobs and the veterans to go out, especially disabled veterans. Okay, we'll agree on that. Now let me ask you another question. Donald Trump, the guy you voted for, just said 2 days ago that Zelensky is a dictator. And only 4% of his people approve of him when 53 to 63% approve of him. How long do I have to listen to this BS? Huh? How long do we have to listen to this BS? Every day, something bombarded with all this BS. Huh, Rayford? How long can you take it, Mr. Unaffiliated? You
3 years and 10 months.
You're not a Republican. You're not a Democrat. You're out of it.
3 years. 3 years and 10 months is what we're going to listen to.
He still votes.
Okay. So why are those lies keep coming out? Why doesn't somebody control him?
Theo, come on now. We've all said you can't control that man. I mean, you cannot control. Trump is like he's never been able. That's been my chief complaint about him was his twittering in the past.
You couldn't find a better person to put in there, right? A criminal you put in office, and this is what we're getting out of this country now, right?
Well, you're going to say that.
Let me tell you what I'm getting out of this country, okay? I'm getting out of the fact that we're now, our eyes are open a little bit to this wasteful spending that has been occurring, okay? I'm for smaller government. I don't want a broad, giant government, okay?
Amen.
I don't want divisive and DEI stuff. Say what you want is divisive. I don't want that. And I just want us all to be Americans, to do our thing. Stop giving every other country in the solar system money.
Don't you understand why we give it to the other countries? China's going to move in. How many times am I going to tell you? If you go to South Africa, and you don't help these countries, China's already building schools for them. They're building ports for them. And these are diseases that these countries have. We're preventing from coming over here. Somebody please do some studying here.
Okay.
Do some studying.
What?
Theo, until we can take care of our citizens first, I say we take care of all our people first. Then I don't care about these other countries, Theo. Let me tell you that I don't. I want our own countries, our own citizens dealt with first. And then we take whatever money we have left over, and then we can go help, the study of cats in Ethiopia, or helping Ethiopia's media issue, or whatever they're, because let me tell you how little care I give. None. I care about citizens who cannot get affordable housing. I care about citizens that are homeless. I care about our pet population out of control.
Kelly,
yes.
There was 600,000 people that didn't have any Medicaid to go for their health.
Correct.
We broke Medicaid, and now they're going to turn it away.
That's a state function.
600,000 people, and the veterans, at least 20 to 30,000 were veterans. Don't you understand? You're not doing the right thing here. You're going to cut Medicare?
No, we can't take care of our veterans because we have to send money to other countries.
Yeah, but
don't even say take care of veterans when they're losing their jobs now. You ought to read the article, how many veterans are losing and how they're on. You're making them very uncomfortable.
You send me the link to that.
Okay. A lot of disabled veterans get disabled veterans pay. You are aware of that, right, Theo? You do understand that. That's why they go to the VA and get rated for disability.
Okay.
Whether they're 10% or 100%, they get trust me. So I don't know what disabled veterans you're talking about. They get some income, but I don't care who you are. If the job is not necessary and we need it for something else, we need it for something else. Don't create a job just to create a job.
You've got some veterans all upset on our comments.
Kelly, you've got 320 million people. Have you gone to Ireland and go to pay your electric bill and see how long the line is? You have a lot of people here because you got 320 million people. Have you seen the motor vehicle lately where the lines go outside the street because they don't have enough people to cover it?
Well, they don't need drivers. We got too many cars on the road anyway.
Listen, listen. This is what's going to happen when you don't have enough people to cover everybody. You're going to be waiting in lines on everything.
But that's private
That's why you have
enterprise. That's private
Okay,
enterprise.
All right.
Kelly, I
Very
told
good.
you Mill in that electric check instead of standing in line in Ireland to pay it.
Yeah,
Okay, there you go. This
Like
is what
what?
you're going to get here when you cutting your force and you got a free window at any time to go pay your bill. Okay, and you're going to wait in line. You're not going to like it because I've been to Greece to pay bills, and I know exactly. I have to wait half a day, and then when they go to lunch, they shut the door, even if you're waiting in line, and you have to wait an hour till they come back.
Why don't you-
think
why don't
what's
you
gonna
just
happen?
I
mail
don't
your
know
check?
what's happening in Greece, but I know in Ireland they pay
why the
pay
post
it
office is going broke.
with the card. I mean, credit card over the phone, or how, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everyone's not
Okay.
standing
Who
in
goes to a
line.
store to pay for
Okay.
anything?
I mean,
All right.
I
You
don't
guys
know
have
how
all the
that's
answers.
happening. Well, I'm just
You
telling you
guys
what
have
I
all
know
the
for a
answers.
fact happens. I can't speak for
you guys
Greece.
have all the answers, okay, and you put the right man in there. That's who you voted for. So now, we'll see.
I'm like,
All right,
I-
you guys take care.
Thank you, Theo.
Bye bye.
see ya. Got some veterans all worked up on our
Well,
comment.
you know,
on
I'm
their
thinking
feed.
about what he said there, but we got this convict in there, basically, right? A convicted man.
Mhm.
So that's what he said. Right?
But let's.
But we had for 4 years plus 8 years as a VP, we had an unconvicted felon because we know the crimes that he
Oh, comes
committed. They
Jennifer.
have come out
Mhm.
enough. A lot of them have come out enough.
But I think then let's look at this a whole different way. Okay, is this now not what we've always said, and I've heard it said many times, even on this show, that once a person is convicted, and I'm going with people that have actually been in prison, pay their debt to society, they can be rehabilitated or whatever, depends on how you look at it. Doesn't this open the door for, if y'all going to throw that convicted felon thing out there, wouldn't you say, well, you know what, if someone goes in and pays their debt to society, they can aspire to be the president? See what I'm saying?
If there's no law to prohibit it, if it's not in the
Right.
Constitution
key
to
thing.
stop
Yeah.
it, to keep him from
Right.
doing it, what are you griping about?
That's
If
what
you
I'm
don't
saying.
like it,
Yeah.
change the Constitution or come up with some
Yes.
other
Right.
stuff. You go to the courts, you do whatever, go to our legislatures. You can't get
But-
on here and scream and holler
But I
about it.
wanted the border closed. Guess what's happening?
Yeah,
they
me
had
too. I
what,
like
300
that too.
crossings? You know what I
A
mean?
whole
So
lot,
yeah,
lot fewer crossings now.
yes.
Yeah.
So I
Hey,
wanted
Jennifer,
that.
you're back.
I am, and I'm calm. I just want to call and give Theo some straight facts.
Okay.
Terry had his stroke March the 3rd of 2017. He was in the hospital for 31 days. At the time he had his stroke, we both had full-time jobs. We came home. We applied for his disability. He saw 2 state-appointed doctors that the state paid for and set up the appointments. And in September, he received his first disability check with no back pay because they have a 6-month grace period. So there was no back pay. Terry, because he got his disability check, that put him over the threshold for Medicaid.
Right.
He automatically qualified for Medicare 24 months after going on disability. So for 24 months, plus the back until the time he got out of the hospital, he had 0 insurance. By the grace of God and the I don't even remember the care program at Carolina East for poor people that didn't have any insurance. We qualified for that, so he was able to go see his doctor, and we were able to get on to get in to see his doctors. He had 0 insurance, none, for over 2 years until he got on Medicare because he did not qualify for Medicaid. There are two different programs. The only caregiver programs that are available are for people on Medicaid or veterans. They told us they could send out an aide to the house for 2 hours a day, 3 days a week. And I thought, well, for what? What are you going to do? Why are you going to send somebody out and pay them to come out to the house and possibly just sit there because I've already done everything that needs to be done? So go ahead and there again, give that to somebody that needs it. If there's an elderly person at home that doesn't have anybody, go visit with them for 2 hours a day, 3 days a week.
Yep.
I finally, after I had talked to everybody that I thought that I could possibly talk to, I talked to a lady in Raleigh over the CAPS program. I was told that I could be put on a waiting list for the CAPS program where I would get paid to take care of my husband. But my husband would have to meet a deductible of over $12,000 out of pocket every 6 months.
Jeez.
Yep.
And I politely asked her what part of we live off of a disability check do you not understand? There's no way possible that we could have that much out-of-pocket deductible. You know, he would be in an institution for it to be costing that much out-of-pocket. So those are the facts. That is how it goes if you are an American citizen in these United States of America. So that is the facts. You can fact check me, but that is the fact on that.
I know that you went to all efforts. You did. You pulled you did everything you could do that could be done to make sure you could get it for y'all, but it's not there. You fell through the cracks, and you're not the only one. That's the rest of the problem.
We're not.
They're all over the place.
I'm not. We are not the only ones, and that's what's so sad.
Yep.
And so when everybody's up there screaming, you know, I want to know. Okay, Rayford, you brought up these programs that's on autopilot.
Yeah.
That's just being okay. What I want to know is how many things have slipped through the cracks because the federal employees are working from home, supposedly, and watching their children and watching their TV and cooking supper and laying out by the pool and everything else instead of being in the office working where they were more focused and would see these things. Just something to think that makes you go,
Yep.
My mind works that way.
I'm going to give you one little piece of. I'm going to give you one little.
That can be done at home. Some things can't.
I'm going to give you one little piece of good news.
Okay.
It affects all of us. Trump signed an executive order late last night ending the use of taxpayer money for federal resources supporting illegal immigration and illegal aliens.
I'm with it.
If nothing else gets done, if we save that amount of money, we can probably take care of a whole lot of people like Terry and like you and others throughout this country. If we cut out crap like that.
Amen.
And just imagine, not only the money that they get, just imagine the resources it takes to take that money from us, steal it from us, and then go give it to them. Do you think that's done automatically? Does it come out of my paycheck and go directly to them? Nope. You've got to have a whole list of bureaucrats in between me and them, and they all get paid.
Yes. Yes.
You're exactly right. And like you say, it is nationwide.
It is.
There are And I mean, I used to see it way back before Terry had his stroke. These little old ladies would come in the grocery store and they'd say, "Can you check and see if my benefits have gone on my EBT card?"
Yeah.
And you look at them and say, well, ma'am, it says you've got a $12 balance. Oh, good. They're on there.
Yeah.
But then you have somebody else that comes in and spends $250, $300 worth of groceries and still has a $200 or $300 balance. It's not right. It's not right. The system is severely broken. But anyway, that is the facts on Medicaid, Medicare, insurance. And when Terry did finally get Medicare, then we still had to give him a supplement. We still had, because they didn't, so, and at that time, that was an extra, because your Medicare comes out of your disability check.
Yeah.
It's not free just because you're on disability. So his Medicare came out of his disability check, and then his insurance came out on top. His Humana at the time came out on top of that.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
That is it. You're watching us on Facebook or something, right? YouTube.
Terry's got it on his phone. He listens to you on Facebook.
Okay.
On Facebook.
All right. Well, it's one thing that
he
does.
sees you.
I was just passed a note. And I've sat here for the last 2 hours with these two lovely young ladies to my left. And I had not paid any attention. And you know what? This is what they talk about men. We don't pay attention
I just got
to
thinking
women, do
about
we?
it.
And then suddenly, Lee at the end of the table here, she says, "We're all wearing the same color this morning." And it's not Friday. Well, Fridays we always wear red, but today's just a Thursday.
I just keep killing it. She looks at me, she looks at you, and she's like, "We are."
Are you, Jennifer? What color are you wearing this morning?
We're wearing burgundy.
We got
I have
burgundy
a
on.
blue jeans and a green and pink tie-dye shirt.
Oh,
Green and pink tie-dyed shirt.
I like that.
I like it.
That ought to be interesting.
You need to make some.
Maybe we need to have that one of these
And
days.
my husband just has on his drawers because he's still in bed.
Good for him.
That's
We're not going
good
to
to
go
know.
there.
Good for him.
Okay. You ever heard of that thing, TMI?
TMI. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Jennifer. Go
Y'all
back.
have a good day.
So much I
too.
could say.
Bye-bye. Oh, yeah. Oh,
We do have some very not good breaking news.
uh-oh.
Oh, wow.
Hamas turned over the bodies
Yes.
today, but it gets better and not in a good way. Better was sarcastic. The four people and the mom and the toddler and the
Yeah.
4-year-old, they turned them over in locked coffins and no key.
Well, I can take
And
care of
Israel is
I
angry.
can, I can take care of the coffin
that's
without
just
a
sick.
key.
What a bunch of
That's
sickos.
cease.
That's a
That's just an insult.
DWAL
That's
thing.
not going to
Yeah.
last.
No.
No, that
Very
ceasefire
sad.
is a
Very sad.
joke.
It
There's
is.
a
I
time to
agree.
regroup is all it's doing.
I agree with that
That's
too.
all it's doing, people. It's
I
giving
agree.
them time to regroup.
It's not going to last.
Yeah.
That ceasefire gives me opportunity to reload is all I can tell you
Mhm.
right now. That's the way I do things. Y'all quit shooting for just a minute. That's all right.
That's
I
right.
love it, Rayford.
Hey, Robin.
Hey, good morning.
I guess that depends upon your perspective.
Well, I wasn't going to call in because I love Theo to death. I think he's a great guy. But, he's exuding the same rhetoric that Maxine Waters and Adam Schiff is screaming and hollering. All the liberals and the Democrats are upset because you got somebody like Elon Musk working for Trump, for Doge. I laugh and I sit back and I think of all these things that they're finding, like, the mating patterns of the monarch butterfly and, how that affects society. All this money that's going out for condoms to Pakistan or whatever they're doing is ridiculous, and it cracks me up because all these people are screaming because their money train is just run out, because every time I hear all these things about this is going for this program, the first thing that comes to my mind is kickbacks.
Who's profiting from this? I'd like to see them look at Chelsea Clinton and her foundation. What kind of kickback that she got from the money that was going to USA and stuff like that. So all these people are screaming. And, we had to sit here for 3 years and 10 months, listen to a walking dead man in the White House that contradicted himself every which way he turned. He couldn't even remember his own name. And now we've got a president who's active and he's doing exactly what he promised. And now all the liberals are getting upset. And it's funny how they get upset and they're trying to make their point. It's like speaking to a foreign national. They think if they speak slowly and louder than the person that they'll understand them. And that's what they're doing. They're just screaming. They're screaming over the top, trying to drown you out, but their point is made, not willing to listen to the other side. And you know what's really troubling? I'm literally sick of it. I'm sick of it. I hope Doge continues to do what they're doing. I hope they tear a new bunghole in some of these agencies. We should have some Doge here in Oswald County as well. That's what
I totally agree with that, Robin. It's where I was going to go next with you, son. We need the same kind of an audit. It needs to be a civilian audit. It doesn't need to be one that paid audits that we have to do every year anyway. That's just one thing. But I like to see somebody look for nothing but waste in this county, in this city, every city in this county.
You've got it. You got people professing this or that, but getting back to the national level. I think people are afraid of Trump because, look, he's moving at lightning speed. He didn't wait a month to start all this stuff. He started on day one. Actually, he started the first minute he took the oath of office. He left his oath of office and went to sign some executive orders. So he's making good on his promises, and people are getting upset. People are getting upset that he's cutting the waste and the fraud in this country. All this money that's going out to all these other countries, it affects us. It affects our income tax. It affects our inflation rate.
Yep.
It affects the prices of gas, everything.
Yeah.
Just imagine if all that money was put back into our society, how prices would be lowered, how our income taxes would go down. And I agree with 100% with what my wife said. I don't care about the snake population in Sri Lanka. I don't care about, whatever that they're funding. I care about the American people. We need to take care of our veterans. I'm a veteran myself. We need to take care of the American people first. And I disagree with the fact that if we have excess, that then we should look at other countries. No, we shouldn't. We have excess. We need to save it and give it right back to the American people, period.
Yep, with interest.
It does not need to go beyond our borders because, we've been playing policeman for the last 50 years, and it's got to stop. And it's got to stop, and the focus has to be back on the United States. And I think that's what Trump is doing. And I'll be proud to say I don't like Trump, but I voted for him because I knew he'd be the most effective president that we would have. And so far, he's proven me right. And so, anytime I listen to the arguments of other people, or liberals or Democrats or whoever it might be with some inflamed ideas, you immediately turn me off. And I don't even want to talk to you because talking to you is like talking to yourself in the mirror, and you get nowhere. So just sit back and enjoy the show, folks, because you got 3.5 more years of this, and we'll see what happens.
Just FYI for you and all you individuals out there, $50 billion. You have no idea what that is, do you? No, $50 billion for every man, woman, and child in this country, 320 million of us. That was $156.25 that it cost each and every one of us for one of those programs.
Right.
You paid for your kids if you got them at home. It cost you $156.25 for every one of them every year that this program has been in effect. Do I need to get off my soapbox?
Go ahead.
No, I'm not doing it.
I sent you a picture,
I saw
Rayford.
that. I will never
I want
answer
you to
that
say
phone
that.
way. All right, y'all sit down and be really quiet now. This is a place of business. This is a legitimate business.
Yeah, it is.
And somebody in this business has to, every time the phone rings every day, they have to answer the phone, kind of like we do here. You're live and local real talk, right?
Correct.
Or hello, who's this? Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Or this is Acme Real Estate.
Yep. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Don't interrupt me. I'm
I
going
won't
to try
say a
my
word.
best to do this as I should.
Mess it
The
up.
name of this business is Shack of Sit. Did I do it right?
You did it right. That it's a
furniture
chair
store.
store, like a furniture
It's
and chair
a
store.
furniture store.
They specialize in
They have a
chairs.
showroom.
Uh-huh.
Good morning. You've reached
There's no way.
Shack of Sit.
I would last about 5 minutes on that job.
No. I would record it the right
Uh-huh.
way, and that's how that phone would be answered every
Oh,
day.
that's a good idea. I
Oh,
would never be able to. I
Yeah.
mean, say
I'd
that
be
5
done.
times fast. I'd get fired.
No,
Shack
I'd be done.
Yeah.
You can't.
You can't. I tried doing it yesterday at home. I was like, I
Shack
can't
of-
say this. I cannot do it. Like that's
Write it down,
that
y'all.
is genius. Though.
Write it down, y'all. I want you to write it down, and tomorrow, don't call here and try to practice it, though.
Imagine a disgruntled employee.
Can you imagine? Oh, yeah.
You would reach Shack of Sit.
Yeah, it would be.
God.
Yeah, it's just that is whoever thought up that name is a genius.
It's a photograph of a business.
Yes, it's a legit.
business.
It's a legit business.
But you know what
What
a
happened-
catchy name.
I wonder how many wrecks have been caused right in front of that place as they drive by.
What a
That's true.
catchy.
Think about that. Yes,
Great PR.
it is amazing.
Oh,
Like I
my
said,
God.
genius.
Oh, Lord
Total
mercy.
genius.
Oh, well. Good. We're leaving on a fun note.
We needed that.
Yes.
We did need that. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yes.
We will see you tomorrow
Good
morning. I
job,
have no
Kelly.
idea what we're going to do, but you can rest assured it's going to tick off some individuals and probably make a bunch of you happy.
Well, we got quite a few ticked off today.
Well, that's all right, and that's what we're here for.
Comments
Not to
were-
make you mad, but I want you to be alert and find out what's going on. Think about. I don't care what your position is. If you're a veteran, there's a whole bunch of veterans around here.
Right.
A lot of you. I love all of you.
Oh,
Well, there's one. I
you
don't.
know how I feel.
But I like our veterans. I respect our veterans.
Mhm.
I respect what they did. They signed up for a job. They did it. Okay, cool.
You're a veteran.
It's
I
so
was just
what?
gonna
It's
say,
a
my
job.
dad's a veteran.
It's a freaking job.
Yeah.
I was a cop. It was a freaking job.
Mhm.
Okay, that's what it was. I
Yeah.
did what
Water
what I-
cop.
what I wanted to do.
He was a water cop.
No, he was.
Well, not in those days. I
No,
didn't
he
do it
was
that
a
much.
regular cop.
No, she's talking about prior to that.
I know.
I'm talking
But
about
I know.
veteran. Right.
Yeah.
I'm a water rat. I will give you that. I have been for longer than I've
Yeah.
been alive.
Mhm.
60 years now. Good God.
Well-
Plus, that was the time underwater. Time on top of the water is even more. Anyway, we like all of you. We respect you. We appreciate you. But you know what? That guy, my granddaddy out there that grew vegetables
Mm-hmm.
his entire life of 81 years. He fed a family. His family had he had 8 kids, plus the others from the neighborhood, plus the others who were relatives that were down on their luck that came to live with them. They had 14 people living in their house at one time.
Right.
We need to get back to that.
He had 14 people.
I
They had
agree.
3 bedrooms.
I agree.
You understand on military vessels, they sleep in
Yes.
hot racking a lot.
Correct.
Hot racking is not what you think it is, y'all.
No.
It's the rack is a bed, a bunk. It's where you put your head to go to sleep.
hmm
You get out of it after you're 4, 6, 8 hours there, and somebody else crawls in it if they don't
Correct.
have enough to go around.
Yep.
Happens regularly.
Yep.
Okay. He raised a family like that.
Mhm.
All of them worked in the farm. Do I owe him any less respect than I for the veterans that we have out there? First of all, he raised a bunch of veterans.
That's right.
I said there were 6 boys. One of them was too young in World War II, so he never did.
hmm
And 5 of them were overseas at the same time in World War II.
Yeah.
He never was in the war. He never was in the military. He was born in 1883, I think it was. So, but he raised kids and food. And he gave away a whole lot.
Yeah. Because that's what you did.
That's right.
Yep.
And you helped your neighbors. You helped each other.
Yep.
You raised kids to be respectful.
Yep. Family first, and then move
That's
on.
right.
Spread from there.
That's right.
Okay, you're live at Local Real Talk. Right here where we're going to always be awake and never woke. Whew, boy, I'm awake and been way too dang long
I'm
right
gonna
now.
calm down.
Bad.
All right, we'll see you in the morning. Bye.